Okay, so I have a gentleman who has debated quite a few things, and so I'll attempt to respond to all of them. So, one thing I mentioned the Daniel Wallace and Bart Ehrman debate, where Daniel Wallace brought up the early patristic evidence, and Daniel Lee tried to argue that Dan Wallace would not agree on using patristic witnesses in place of what he called good quality Greek manuscripts. Maybe. And he says that Dan Wallace is using patristic information to establish ipsissima verba. And he brings up, so I'll have to deal with, so one of the things, I'll try and pull the clip out of the debate and discuss that. And what he said here about the relevance of what Dan Wallace said to Bart Ehrman. And he also says 1 John 5, 7, and 8, that there's no evidence, patristic or otherwise, to support the King James Bible's reading. And he also says that about Revelation 22:19. And he says that Dan Wallace dealt with the alleged Cyprian quote on the comma. So, so that's at least three things I count. The Dan Wallace comment to Bart Ehrman, the Johannine comma, and Revelation 22:19. He said, notice Damon has no substance, nor is he able to refute the fact that the KJV was based on a poor collection of manuscripts. So I will need to deal with the manuscripts that they had available. So the Dan Wallace, the Johannine comma, he mentions it again here, the comma Johanneum. He mentions the pericope adulterae, Acts 8:37 here. So I'll need to deal with those as well. He also mentions Erasmus did not have the last 6 verses of Revelation as an evidence that the King James, according to him, could not possibly be adequate. So I have to deal with that. So I have to deal, let's see. Then the third item, I noticed here that he's claiming the King James does not follow the grammar as God gave it for Exodus chapter 25, verse 31. So I'll have to look at Exodus 25:31. I believe I mentioned that I'll need to look at Revelation 22:19 to respond to him. Also, I notice he mentioned Revelation 16:5. So we'll have to deal with Dan Wallace and the Ehrman debate, the King James Bible's collection of manuscripts, whether Erasmus was missing the last 6 verses of Revelation, how relevant that was, the comma Johanneum, the pericope adultera, Acts 8:37, Exodus 25, verse 31, Revelation 22:19, Revelation 16:5. He mentions the Johannine comma here. I had posted a little bit about that. And he claims that I've not shown any evidence that it belongs in the Bible. And he mentions a few other items here, so I'll have to deal with that. Let's see. Making up readings not supported by the actual text is to change God's word and is not a blessing. It is the real embarrassment to Christianity and insult to God. Talking about this. So I'm going to have to deal with his insults. He's repeatedly claiming these. When I'm done, we'll see if he deserves to, stay in the group, or if we should apologize to him. One or the other, but he certainly cannot continue going around accusing people of being an embarrassment and an insult without actually, he's not justifying. Oh, making up readings. So we have to see if these readings are made up and if they're not supported by the text. I do want to say that the group is a public group, so it's not like I'm recording something that is not in the public eye already. So, okay. So we will go after Dan Wallace on the early witnesses, what he said to Bart Ehrman, that the King James Bible, the collection of manuscripts it had, the quality of them, I need to respond to that. I need to respond, Erasmus supposedly missing the last 6 verses of Revelation. I need to respond to whether the comma Joanneum belongs, whether the pericope adulterae belongs. Respond to him regarding Acts 8:37. I need to respond to him regarding Exodus 25:31. I need to respond to him regarding Revelation 22:19, Revelation 16:5, the comma Joanneum. Oh, I said that already. And Daniel Lee's accusations. Thank you.